Our next subject is rapport. Rapport is power. Earlier today we said anything you want to achieve, anything you want to learn, master, experience, there's somebody out there who has a life experience, the understanding, the network, the capital, the thing you need to be able to achieve it. But they're not going to give you what they want, or they're not going to give you what you want, rather, and need, until you first give them what they want and need. And you're not even going to find out what they want and need until you first get in a relationship of rapport. If you don't do that, you're never going to learn anything. Rapport is power. What is a relationship of rapport? Rapport means total responsiveness between people. When someone is totally responding to you, and you're totally responding to them, you're in rapport. There's that connection. It's that spark that happens in certain communications or relationships. Now, everybody wants to create rapport, have it, but most people only get rapport with people who are like whom? Themselves, and they lose with everybody else, which means you got a very limited world. So we want to take it to a different level. So let's say, for example, if I said to you right now, guys, I want you to go out to a local restaurant or bar, and I want you to meet somebody, and I want you to develop rapport with them, a connection with them. How would you do it, though? You'd walk in this restaurant or bar, you meet somebody, and you'd engage them in conversation by asking a few what? Questions. Now, is it possible to ask a few questions and have a conversation and go poof, and just die? Is that possible? Yes or no? So questions don't create rapport. Questions are a tool we use to dig for something. What are you digging for when you're asking these questions? You're trying to find something in what? That's right. So write in your notes, rapport is created by a feeling of commonality. Rapport is created by a feeling of commonality. When we feel like we have something in common with someone, there's a spark. Now, here's the problem. If rapport is created by a feeling of commonality, most people try to get rapport by using words. But you've already learned something. What percentage of our communication skills are words? What percentage? 7%, which means you're leaving out 93% of your skills, which is why most people don't get rapport with a large number of people. You know, what do? You walk in a restaurant or a bar and go, hi, what's your name? Where are you from? Why are you here? And the person says, my name's Habib. I'm from Iraq. I'm a terrorist. I'm here to kill people. And you go, amazing. Me too. No. See, words don't always work, do they? But there is something that always works to get rapport, and it's something called matching and mirroring. Matching and mirroring. Now, matching and mirroring came about 35 years ago when we've all done matching and mirroring our whole lives. But the person who pointed out was Milton Erickson. Dr. Erickson was a genius. What he did was he was a medical doctor, but he also was a psychologist and a hypnotherapist, probably the best that ever lived. And people would come to see him who try to change everything anywhere else in their life, nothing would work. They see him for one session, he'd handle it. And the reason is because he understood something. He understood that you have both a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. And he knew the subconscious is more powerful. It's the part that makes your heart beat 100,000 times a day without having to think about it. So he knew if he could influence your subconscious mind, he could change anything, and that's what he did. But here's how he did it. He had polio, so he was in a wheelchair. So he spent an enormous amount of time studying people. And he began to notice something about human beings, that when human beings got together, if they got in rapport, a relationship of responsiveness, they became like each other in a variety of ways. What he called they mirrored each other. Now, I've taught this for 25 years, so I'm sure you've heard of it, and I've written it in my books, and it's been taught in a variety of other areas now. But it's one thing to know it intellectually or to understand it. It's another thing to know it while you're doing it. And that's what I want to get you to do tonight so you have a real experience of it that you won't forget. But here's the basis of it. People like people who are like whom? Themselves. And people don't like people who are not like themselves. To be more specific, write this down. People like people who are like themselves or who are like how they would like to be. So this concept, Erickson noticed, he used it in the following way. Watch me. If you came in to see Dr. Erickson, instead of talking to you intellectually and trying to get through to you, he'd go right for the jugular by getting your nervous system connected to him, getting rapport. So if you came to him and you said, Dr. Erickson, I don't know, this is a waste of time. I've tried everything and I don't know, I think I should just go. He would do this. He'd go, I'm sure it looks that way on the surface, but you haven't tried this, so you haven't tried everything, and I think you should stay. And the person would go, huh, something about this guy I like. You know, he's not over the top, you know what I mean? He's like really real. There's just something about him that feels down home and real to me, right? If you came in to see him and he said, Dr. Erickson, I've tried everything. It's a waste of my time. I'm out of here. He'd say, you sit down. You haven't tried everything. You've not done this before. You're staying right here. Guy goes, hey, I like this guy. He's got some spunk, kick ass. Maybe he could do something. See, he became like the people he was communicating with, and what it was is whatever they put out, he sent the same message back, like biofeedback, and it entrained them to him. So that when he then told their unconscious what to do, their brain just did it. That was his power. Now, we all do this naturally. If you want to have some fun, go out tonight to a singles bar and watch people when they first meet. And then you can see when the rapport happens. If they finally sit down and they'll start to lean in the same direction, they'll start nodding their head at the same tempo. If one's tapping their foot, often you'll see the other one tap their foot. The volume and tone of their voice will start to mirror if they're in rapport. If they're out of rapport, you'll see them in direct opposites of this nature. Now, if you want to be effective then, mirroring is so easy. We do it naturally, but here's the problem. Most people wait till they have enough words in common, that then they put the voice in common and the body in common. But words are only 7%. They don't work all the time. And by the way, do we judge people in a matter of seconds by their style, yes or no? Style is more important than substance initially. That sounds terrible, but it's true. Style is more important than substance initially. Now, notice I say initially. If you don't have any substance, it's not going to last. But you can have lots of substance and no style, and people will never hear a word you say. No one will ever get to know what you believe. I'll give you an example. How many have ever dealt with somebody whose tone of voice alone drove you up a wall and you couldn't listen to anything they said? They had like dentist drill tonality. How many of you have been with somebody like, so that style gets in the way of substance. Now, let's give an example. Let's say you and I want to mirror someone. We want someone to feel connected to us, and we're going to do it on the phone. What are some aspects of the voice that you could mirror that would make them unconsciously immediately feel connected to you? What are some aspects? You tell me. Okay, tone of voice, as we just said, is a perfect one. Because if you're talking like this, and they're talking like this, and I say, well, I don't know, what do you think? You're not going to feel very comfortable through time. Tone of voice is huge. If you mirror someone's tone of voice, they will feel connected to you and not even know why. What else besides tone of voice could you mirror on the phone? Okay, tempo. What kind of person talks at this particular pace like I'm talking right now? What kind of people talk at this particular pace? What part of the country tends to talk at this pace? Come on, where? Where? What part of the country? Where? And New York would be good. One New York would be a good example. How do people talk more like this? Feel about those fast-talking city slickers. Do they trust them? No. They don't even know how to say the word dog. How does a fast-talking person feel about a slow-talking person? What do you think, Mary? Mary, what do you think, Mary? What do you think, Mary? What do you think? Mary goes, well, what? How many have ever seen this mismatch between two people? Right? What else besides speed? Volume. Loud-talking people. Who do they like? They love loud-talking people. They know you're a real man, you're a real woman too. Who else likes loud-talking people? Deaf people like loud-talking people. But how do quiet-talking people feel about those loud-talking people? They're obnoxious, aren't they? And, of course, intelligent people talk like you and I do, don't they? Do we judge people in a matter of seconds by their volume, by their tone, by their tempo, yes or no? You better believe we do. What else could you mirror on the phone? Terminology, key words. There's certain words people use again and again. If you sell real estate and somebody comes in and says, I'm looking for a magnificent home, do you want to say, oh, I have a fantastic place to show you? No, I had this experience myself once. I said, I'm looking for this. No, I got a fantastic place. Fantastic and magnificent may be the same to you, but I guarantee they aren't for the other person. If you mirror their words, they will feel heard, they will feel understood, and they will also feel you're as smart as they are. What else besides words, tone, tempo, volume? Accent? Well, only if you really have that accent. Because if you try to duplicate it, it's not really your accent, you're going to break rapport, right? What about the body? What could you mirror in the body if you were there in person? What could you mirror? Posture is very powerful. They're really upright, you're upright. They're more relaxed, you're more relaxed. What else? Gestures. Watch this. If somebody's talking, and people are funny, when they're making important points, people have idiosyncratic gestures. Idiosyncratic mean gestures that are all their own. So if you're talking to this guy and he says, I don't think so, I think we ought to do this, and he makes this funny little gesture when he's talking about what he really wants to do. If you turn back to him and say, you know, that's a great idea. Can I ask you a question, though? What if we did this instead? You make that same little motion with your hand and look at him and be like, a friend. You think I'm kidding. You go out tonight at dinner and you find somebody who's on an angle to you or in front of you. Don't even look at them. Just mirror them for 5 to 10 minutes. They reach for the glass, reach for the glass. The glass is empty, no one's going to notice. Just reach for the glass. They bring it up, they bring it down, bring it down. They reach for the fork, reach for the fork. 5 to 10 minutes. 5 minutes usually, 10 minutes max. After you've done this for 5 to 10 minutes, you want to have some fun? Reach for your glass and watch what they do. They'll reach for it like that. It's called pacing and leading. It's also known as entrainment. Many of you know that if you go to an old clock shop where they have those old grandfather clocks where they have the little pendulum, that once they wind them, those pendulums start out different and they all end up in sync. It's called entrainment. Women know this, but most men don't. So I'll just share this with you. Women have the ability to be like clocks with other women. When women hang out together, men, they literally end up having their periods at the same time. So that all the men are crazy during that time. Is it true, ladies? Yes or no? If they're in rapport, their periods become in sync. So if women's periods can come in sync, you could get rapport with a stranger across the room. And all you got to do is mirror them for 5 or 10 minutes and make a change, right? And it'll make it happen, all right? How many follow? So what else besides posture could you mirror in the body? What else? Gestures, we already said. What else? Facial expression. Most of us, if someone's telling you a story and they're like really into their story and they're making these faces, do you sit and look at them like this? No, you look back and make the same stupid look back. What about eye contact? A lot of business people and salespeople have been taught a total lie. They've been taught, like, if you're really, truly going to influence someone, you must look directly into their eyes and not break eye contact for 45 straight minutes. This way they know you really mean it. There's only one problem with that. The problem is people like people who are like whom? Themselves. So if you got somebody who just stares in your eyes and doesn't blink for 45 straight minutes, it's going to freak you out. What kind of person stares in your eyes and doesn't break eye contact? Aliens, that's who. Most humans look away, right? So if they look away, give them a break and look away. Don't make them crazy. Now, if you meet somebody who like locks eyes with you and doesn't break eye contact, you lock eyes right back, you keep them on for 45 minutes, they'll know you're an alien too, it'll build rapport. What else? What else besides eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, posture? Come on, what else? Breathing. Breathing's very powerful, one of the most powerful. If you breathe at the exact same pace as another person, you will feel what they are feeling, period. But you got to be breathing from the same location, the same tempo. And breathing is magnificent because it really hooks you to this person. How many of you can think of a time in your life when you were breathing at the same pace as another person and you felt really close for some reason? Anybody think of a time like that? See, I used to do a lot of sexual therapy for couples, and when you help people in this area, you get a practice because people pay anything, they'll fly anywhere to get this part of their life handled. So I ended up with a 6-month waiting list, no exaggeration. I mean, every single day book, and people would be calling me based on referrals because I help their friends, and they'd be like, I gotta see you, gotta see you now. And I'm like, I got a 6-month waiting list. No, I'll pay you for your lunchtime. I'll buy your dinner. I'm going, look, how about I refer you to somebody I've trained? There are lots of people I've trained. No, it's got to be you. So here's how I would deal with it. I would say, okay, I will give you one of my lunches if you take an assignment I give me. But first, you got to answer some questions honestly. Here's the first question. When you make love, do you breathe in unison while you're making love? And invariably, the guy would go, huh? And I'd say, let me explain. You're here telling me about all these things you're upset with each other about. And you can talk about these things till you're blue in the face, but the real problem is you don't feel connected. You don't feel love.